welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my friend Mbali's makeup.
Hi guys, I'm your model today.
Okay, so we are starting off with her eyes. I like to do eyes first because then you can clean up any drip that falls onto your face instead of having to redo your foundation after. So I start with mascara, but if you're doing false eyelashes, you want to put them on last. Okay, so this is Essence All Eyes on Me. It's cheap, but it's great. So I am taking LA Girl Pro Prep Primer. Taking a little bit, I know it's on my hands, I'm sorry. And just putting a little bit on her closed eyelids so that we can prime this area too. We'll prime the whole face later on when we do foundation, but I don't want to prime and then wipe it off. So I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, which I got as a gift, and it's amazing. So if anyone wants to buy it, go do that. So the first color I'm taking is Ounce. It is the outermost color and it's the lightest color. So I'm just going to use it to prime her eyelids. Her eyes. Just under her brow bone especially, because that's where like the light hits you. Next I'm going to take quite a big flat brush and we'll cover the eyes in this color, Low Blow. Just so that we can get a nice, like a matte base. And then I'll add, also using this more as a transition color. And then I'll build up and add over it. So I'm not doing a lot because this is really just kind of our first transition color. But just enough. Next thing, I'm going to take this brush because it's quite good for kind of packing on color. I am going to take Lumbre because it's amazing and shiny and beautiful. Okay, close your eyes and cover her lid with it. And try to get as much pigment on there as possible. But because I've used a brown undertone, it's going to be very like brown vibes as opposed to more reds and burgundies. So I'm kind of trying to pat it down, to pat the color down so that it sticks. Next, I am going to take this quite dark color, En Fuego, and use it in the crease as more of a transition shade, but a darker transition fade so that it blends nicely and beautifully. Okay, look at me. Ah, so pretty. Okay. So now I'm going to start on her face, even though the eyes aren't done. I'll come back to the eyes at the end to finish. Okay, next I'm taking a wet wipe and just going under her eyes and cleaning off the excess so that we can apply foundation. So can you see how much came off? Do you see why I do foundation last? Because otherwise this would be all on your skin and then you have to redo your foundation and it's a nightmare. Taking my primer again, but this time obviously using a bit more. And then once again just rubbing it into her face. Does this feel good?
Yeah, it does actually. Feels like I'm getting a face massage.
Next I am taking, this is Clarins Everlasting Foundation in Mbali's color. Make sure to use your color because if I used my color on Mbali, it would be a bit of a disaster.
I would look like a ghost.
And I would be in blackface. So we are... Okay, so I like to kind of put some foundation in key regions first, and then I come back to it to spread. So what you want to do, you can use a brush or a sponge, and just kind of gently move it around until it's sitting comfortably and easily on the face. You also don't want to put too much in one place because then it also just becomes very cakey. And I really don't like makeup that feels like you're wearing a lot of makeup. So rather go a bit lighter first and come back to it and go over it than do too much first and then be in trouble and have to wipe off your face. So sponges tend to absorb a lot of the product, which is why I don't always prefer to use them. So you get a very light coverage with a sponge. And I prefer sponges to for concealer, to kind of dab in concealer. But we're making do with what we have. You can see the foundation, it's all blended in beautifully on my beautiful model.
Thank you.
Okay, then I'm taking, this is NYX Bright Idea highlighter, and I'm just going to highlight the key points on her face, and then we'll blend it in, and we can come back with a powder highlight at the end to just give her that extra glow. I love the glow, I really do. And then I'm taking a bit of a darker color as well, so we're not necessarily contouring, but we kind of are. As you can see, I'm just dabbing it in, but you have to work a bit harder on the darker so that you don't end up with lines, because you don't want to look like you give yourself a 5 o'clock shadow. I've done that. You don't want to look like you have facial hair if you don't want to look like you have facial hair. Okay, so can you see the highlight is still there, but it is not necessarily very much in your face. So next I'm going to take powder, and this powder is lighter than Mbali's skin, so I'm going to be very gentle with it because we don't want her to look like a ghost, but I want to try to set the foundation as much as I can. So I'm just going to very gently go over it, and I can always darken her up a bit with bronzer if I need to. Next I'm taking, it is the Balm in Stain blush. Great one. I like to use a more like berry kind of blush as opposed to a pink blush because I have like a natural rosy look, and so I don't like to do it too much because then I look like I'm like flushed and sweaty, and that's not the goal. So just a little bit on the apples of the cheeks and not too much. If you like the more blushy look, that's fine. I'm not a big like very blushy looking person, but it just depends on your skin tone and your preference. Next I'm taking bronzer, and we're going to put the bronzer where we used the darker color. So under the cheekbones, most importantly, because that gives you definition. I mean, look how amazing the cheekbones are looking. On the forehead here, you kind of make sure to blend it into the hairline because you don't want to have kind of like a line of skin and then bronzer and then makeup. Then we're also going to go a little bit just on the corners of her face, just to give her some extra definition, a little bit in the temples. That's that. We'll come back to highlight last because it's my favorite part, so I like to do it last. Next, so this is Jeffree Star's thing that he likes to do, and he calls it like when you look like a heroin addict because you have like bags under your eyes, except with color. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take He Devil, put a little bit, you want kind of like a light round brush because you don't want to dab a lot of color on. Okay, look up. And you kind of just want to swipe it under the eyes and into the rest of your product. So it mustn't look like it's separate from the rest of your look. So can you see it's just like a little kind of under, so it looks like you paid attention to your whole face. I'm into it. Just it's a personal preference, I think.
Yeah, like I've seen it on Kylie Jenner before. It looked really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I learn from the best. Then I'm going to take Lumbre again. And I like this brush from the Urban Decay box. It's really cool. And I'm just going to put it in the corners of her eyes so that they really pop. But I also like to do this with highlight, so it just depends on the look. Like, I think I want to go for darker colors in this look. This is Palladio Felt Tip Liner. I feel like it works the best. I prefer using like a fine liner as opposed to like one that you use to paint on with, because I just think my hand is steadier. Okay, close your eyes and don't breathe. I'm also just doing very thin eyeliner because we don't want Mbali to look too crazy. And also I feel like if like you're doing your own makeup and you're used to wearing a lot of makeup, you can really go mad with it. But if someone who doesn't wear makeup that often, like I don't like to put too much because then they panic a bit. And she's also twitchy, so it doesn't help when putting on eyeliner. Okay, look at me. Okay, I'm gonna make this side a bit thicker. So just play around with the eyeliner until you get it perfect. I'm pretty happy with what it looks like.
Love it. Thank you.
And we're just going to finish it off. Jeffree Star Noel's King Tut highlight. Just on the tops of the cheekbones on either side. Then I take a flatter brush, also dip that in to go down the nose, swipe across the tip of the nose, a little bit on top of the lips, a little bit down there, a little bit here. You can even do a bit on the ridge. And my little eyebrow tool, let's brush them, make them look perfect. I'm going to use the Kylie Cosmetics One Wish because it's like a brownie color and it will really work well. It's like a bit of a nude. It's also really nice. Doing this with someone else is so much easier. Such gorgeous lips.
Thanks.
Okay. Oh. Okay, then just going to spray her off with finishing spray from MAC. Close your eyes, don't get it fright. Okay. And we are done. Are you happy?
This is my look. I love it. Thank you. This is what it's like when you have a friend as a makeup artist.